Let's be honest. If you're a parent in 2026, the phrase youth sports can feel like a four-letter word. We've all seen it. The soccer dads screaming from the sideline, the financial black hole of travel teams, the endless carpool schedules that drain your soul. But here is the question I'm wrestling with today. What about the parents who refuse to sign their kids up at all? Not the parents who are too busy, not the parents whose kids are clumsy. I'm talking about the parents who actively make a decision to keep their kids off the field. The ones who say, no, sports are bad for my kid. On the surface, we often judge these parents. We call them paranoid or overly protective, or just soft. But if you dig into the psychology of it, it's actually a lot more complex, and honestly, a lot more fascinating than just fear. Let's look at the psychology behind why a parent says no to the game.
Let's start with the most obvious one, the fear of injury. We live in the age of CTE. We know more about concussions now than we ever did. For a parent, watching their kids sprint into a crowd of other kids is objectively terrifying. It's a primal survival instinct. But here is the psychological twist. It's often not just the fear of the broken bone. It's the fear of the unknown. Psychologically, parents who work white-collar jobs, sitting in an office or behind a computer, often have a lower tolerance for physical risk. They don't live in a world where physical toughness is currency. So in their head, the logic sounds like this. I didn't get hurt in sports, but my body is my retirement plan. I need my brain to work. Why would I risk my kid's future for a game? To them, saying no to sports is actually saying yes to safety. It's a calculated decision based on a loss aversion bias. The pain of a potential injury is psychologically heavier than the joy of a potential win. They aren't soft. They're just playing a different game of odds.
But the physical stuff isn't the only reason. Let's talk about the emotional toll. There is a specific type of parent, and I see this a lot in millennial parents, who hate the culture of sports. Not the game, the culture. I call this the sideline trauma parent. Usually, this parent was a kid who was a decent athlete, but suffered from a terrible coach, a toxic team, or worst of all, a parent who was too hard on them. Psychologically, these parents are projecting. They know that sports are a meritocracy. You are either good or you sit on the bench. It's transparent and unforgiving. And for a parent who maybe struggled with self-esteem growing up, they look at their young child and think, I am not bringing that dynamic into my home. I am not letting some middle-aged guy in a polo shirt yell at my kid and make them feel small. They see sports as a threat to their child's self-esteem, rather than a builder of it. They view the tough love coaching style as abuse, not discipline. They'd rather their kid experience the natural, gentle failures of school and music where the competition is less visible than the humiliation of striking out in front of a crowd. It's not that they don't want their kid to fail. It's that they don't want their kid to fail in a stadium.
All right, let's get real. Let's talk about the wallet. There is a massive psychological phenomenon called financial scarcity mindset. When a parent looks at youth sports, especially the travel ball scene, they see a money pit. Registration fees, private coaching, hotel rooms, equipment, it's a treadmill. For a parent who grew up with Rec League, the Parks and Rec department where you paid $50 and got a trophy, today's system feels predatory. Psychologically, these parents are saying, I worked hard to give my kid a stable life. I'm not going to spend $5,000 a year on a sport they might quit in 6 months. That money belongs to their college fund. That money belongs to our family vacation. To them, the return on investment, ROI, of a sport doesn't add up. They see kids who play D1 sports, and they know the statistics are astronomically low. They don't see the value in paying for character development if it costs as much as a used car. It's a rational financial decision masked as a parenting philosophy. But the hidden psychology here is anxiety. They are so afraid of wasting money that they decide the only way to win is not to play the game at all.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. So these parents just want to raise wimps? No. This is where the psychology gets nuanced.
Psychologists actually say that if you ask these parents what they do want for their kids, they'll say creativity, self-discovery, and joy. They see sports as a rigid structure, a box. They'd rather let their kid explore art, coding, or guitar. They believe that personal expression is more important than teamwork. But here's the downside, and why I think this decision is often flawed. We need to talk about resilience. Sports teach you how to lose. They teach you that you can give 100% and still lose by 10 points. That is a critical life lesson that music or chess doesn't always teach in the same visceral way.
So, what's the takeaway? If you are a parent who wants to pull their kid from sports, I get it. The fear is real. The money is tight. The sidelines are toxic. But psychology also tells us that kids need voluntary adversity. The real secret isn't let them play or let them quit. The secret is control. If the coach is a lunatic, join a different league. If travel ball is too expensive, play rec. If they are falling behind in school, set boundaries. Parents who successfully navigate this are the ones who separate the game from the system. The child doesn't need to go to the Olympics, but they do need to know what it feels like to score a goal or to get dirty or to high-five a teammate after a loss. The psychology of the parent who says no is often rooted in love and protection. But sometimes, love looks like letting them fall down on the grass, even if it makes you wince. What do you think? Are you the parent who says, let them play? Or do you lean toward the protective side? Let me know in the comments below. I genuinely want to hear your story. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more deep dives into the psychology of everyday life. See you in the next one.